The 6th generation Ford Explorer has finally landed on our shores, and in this video, we take a tour of the Ford Explorer Limited 4x4, and then we get to drive it. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I want you to click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But first, click that like button. Also, special thanks to Ford BGC and the Auto Hub Group for providing the Ford Explorer Limited 4x4 to do this review. If you are within the area and you need the Ford, well, head on down here to their showroom and check them out. For any inquiries, you may also contact the person in my pinned comment below. Oh yeah, and mention that special code that you're seeing on your screen for special freebies and special treatment. The Ford Explorer is the best-selling SUV in the United States, and it's often used for utility such as police cars. And it's also the SUV of choice by soccer moms. Now, it replaced the Ford Bronco way back in 1991 because that particular Ford SUV no longer exists. Just kidding, guys. Anyway, here in the Philippines, the Ford Explorer is often used as an executive SUV, mainly because it has a commanding presence on the road. Now, it also comes at a price that only an executive can afford because this sole Explorer Limited 4x4 variant has a retail price of 2,998,000 Philippine pesos. Now, if you think about it, guys, that's not so bad, especially considering the pricing of the top-of-the-line 4x4 midsize SUVs, well, pickup-based SUVs that we have in the country today. The 6th generation Explorer gets a fully redesigned front clip here that doesn't look as intimidating as the previous generation. You see, it traded off its macho look for a more cultured approach. Now, this new Explorer gets a fully redesigned front grille here that has a combination of chrome and some matte, well, aluminum finish here that makes it look a little bit more blingy. Plus, we also have a fully redesigned front bumper. Now, even the headlight housing of this thing is slimmer and smaller, such that it looks like it belongs to a smaller SUV rather than the Ford Explorer. Now, of course, this Explorer Limited gets a full LED lighting units. We get LED headlights, LED DRLs, and LED fog lights. Now, overall, guys, it's not really a bad look, but it just looks different. It looks more refined and softer. The side profile of the Explorer hasn't changed much from the previous generation, although it does get a redesigned belt line here for a more aggressive look. Now, this Explorer still gets the same body-colored C-pillar here as against the blacked-out A, B, and D pillars for that contrasty look. Now, when you go over to the other side of this thing, on the driver's side, well, the B pillar of the driver's side also houses Ford's Security Code, which allows you to enter the Explorer even if you don't have the key with you. Now, it also has a set of power-folding blacked-out side mirrors here with LED turn signals and also puddle lamps. Now, if you turn your attention to the wheels of this Explorer, well, it gets a set of large 20-inch bling-bling alloy wheels. Now, these wheels are not finished in chrome, but rather, they're finished in polished aluminum, and it suits the look of this Ford Explorer. Now, these wheels are wrapped in 255/55 R20 Michelin self-sealing tires. Now, these self-sealing tires, guys, are, yeah, they work just like run flats, but they don't really use a stiffer sidewall here, but rather they use a compound that seals around the puncture long enough for you to get to a tire shop. Now here's a fun fact, guys. This, the Ford Explorer is the first vehicle to ever use this fancy new self-sealing tires from Michelin. Now when we go over to the mechanicals, well, the Ford Explorer is stopped by a set of four-wheel disc brakes, and for the suspension, we also have a MacPherson setup in the front and an independent integral link at the back, which is, yeah, pretty similar to a multi-link suspension. Now when it comes to the ground clearance of this thing, well, the Explorer has a ground clearance of 208 millimeters, which is, yeah, perfect for a light trail work or a light city flood. Here at the back, the Explorer gets a set of LED taillights here, plus a wraparound effect on your greenhouse, mainly because of that blacked out D-pillar that we have there. Now this Explorer also comes with a power liftgate, and it also has a hands-free function, and all you have to do is just, with the key fob with you, you could just do a kicking motion here, and that pops open your liftgate. Now that we have this thing open, well, you'll see that the Explorer gives you the largest cargo space in its category today. With the third row in use, you get around 18.2 cubic feet of cargo space, which is, as you can see, good enough for a medium-sized luggage, plus some smaller items beside it. Now, if you need more space than 18.2 cubic feet, well, the third row seats could go away by tumbling down. Oops, there you go. By tumbling down the third row seats with a push of the button here on the side. Yeah, it's a little bit slow, guys, but it gets the job done. There you go. So now that we have the third row out of the way, the Explorer will now give you 47.9 cubic feet of cargo space, which is humongous and can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 medium-sized luggage. The Explorer Limited here in the Philippines gets apparently it gets a prop rod. Now that's a bummer. We have a prop rod here, gentlemen, and not, gas struts, which is kind of a bummer. But in fairness to this Ford Explorer, well, the hood itself is pretty light. Now, as I was saying, the Ford Explorer here in the Philippines gets an EcoBoost engine, the base EcoBoost engine, which is a 2.3-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged gasoline motor that puts out 300 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque. Now it also comes with an auto start-stop feature, which helps you to eke out the smallest bit of fuel efficiency from this Explorer. Now all of that power can be sent to all four wheels with a rear wheel bias via a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now guys, we may get the smaller base 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine here, but this Explorer can still tow a maximum of 2,400 kilograms. Now that's a bit of good news for the executive who owns, let's say, a pair of jet skis or even a small boat. The Ford Explorer is the most family-friendly SUV in Ford's lineup, so you can expect to get a bunch of premium amenities and creature comforts here inside. Look up and you'll see a huge panoramic sunroof right there. Now the seats are wrapped in leather, of course, and these front seats are both power adjustable, plus they also get a heating function and a ventilation function, which is always a thumbs up for me, guys. Now when you move over to your steering wheel, we do get a leather-wrapped steering wheel here, although I did notice that we are missing a pair of paddle shifters, which apparently was deleted for the 2022 model and onwards. Now the steering wheel also has a heating function here, which, yeah, is nice to have, but I don't really see the need for a heated steering wheel here in the Philippines. But as I said, it is nice to have. Now we do get a bunch of the usual Ford buttons here. We get buttons for hands-free connectivity, plus buttons that operate, Ford's Co-Pilot 360 driver assist systems. Now, as you can see on your screen, my goodness, it's gonna cover the entire screen, guys. Well, this Ford Explorer is equipped with all of these safety bits, plus that aforementioned Ford Co-Pilot 360 driver assist system, which will help keep your family and all of the passengers inside this Ford Explorer safe at all times. Now, that's pretty nifty, but get it out there. That's a lot of safety features, guys. Now, when you move over to the instrument gauge cluster, well, we get a typical Ford gauge cluster layout here. We have an analog tach and speedo, plus we have a large colored multi-information display in the middle for your vital vehicle information. Now, when you move over to the infotainment screen here, well, okay, so we get an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system here. That's pretty good. It's kind of decent. It's kind of on the small side, especially in today's times, but yeah, it's still quite usable. Now, it gets the usual Ford MySync 3, plus it also has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the image for a 360-degree view camera. Now, that's all well and good, guys, but the only thing that's kind of a bit of a bummer for me here is the way they integrated this thing there. You see, it looks like it's just been tacked on in the middle of the dashboard. It's like the engineers of this 6th generation Explorer was like, oh my God, we forgot to put the infotainment screen. So yeah, let's just paste one right there in the middle and call it a day. I mean, these guys could have integrated this thing so much better into that dashboard. But well, maybe that's just me. Now, we also have a small tray right here for some stuff, like maybe your cell phone and whatnot. And moving down further, we have here the buttons for your climate control system, because this Ford Explorer Limited gets a fully automatic triple zone climate control setup. So that's pretty nifty. Now, moving down further, we have here some storage areas, and we also have here a gear shifter that looks pretty similar to the larger Ford Expedition. Now, we get a gear knob here, and we only have a button that's marked as L, which stands for low gear, because as I mentioned, guys, we don't get any paddle shifters here, and there's really no way for you to shift this thing manually. So yeah, if you need to stay in low gear, just have to press the L button in the middle and you're good to go. Now, below that, we have here an electronic park brake with an auto hold feature, and further below that, we have a smaller knob that controls your drive modes, well, including the terrain management system of this Ford Explorer. You see, yeah, you could toggle between like snow and the mud and rocky terrain and sport and normal and all of that driving modes. Now, beside these knobs, we also have a couple of cup holders, which I will subject to my Clean Canteen test. Now, everyone knows that this Ford Explorer is an American vehicle, and well, Americans love their cup holders, so I'm pretty sure this will pass easily. It easily passes my Clean Canteen test. That's also good. Now, when you look at the cabin materials and the cabin layout of this Ford Explorer, well, it is pretty much an executive cabin. We've got a bunch of grays and some wood trim here and there, and yeah, it also has some soft touch plastics. I think this is plastic. Yeah, it is soft touch plastics here on the top of the dashboard and top of the door cards. But we do get some leather inserts in your door cards, plus of course your leather center armrests. Now, oh, I failed to mention, guys, we also have here a 12-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound setup. So I'm pretty sure that the sound stage of this new Ford Explorer will be pretty good. It's going to be awesome, guys. Now, as I mentioned, yeah, back to the cabin materials. We do get a lot of plastics here in the lower part. We got some hard plastics. So yeah, it's a combination of soft touch and hard touch plastics here, mainly because, well, the Ford Explorer is still used as a utility vehicle, mostly for government agencies and law enforcement agencies in the US. So that's why you get all of these plastic materials. Most Ford Explorer owners here in the Philippines would likely sit here in the second row seats because most of them have family drivers that are being paid for by their companies. Now, guys, we don't really get captain's chairs here, which is a bit of a bummer, to be honest. But, well, if you look at the configuration of this back seat, well, we do have a three-way split here. So if you want to achieve that, that captain's chair like vibe, you can always fold down the seat back of the middle seat, and yeah, you already have your own personal bubble and personal space here. Now, granted, it's not really the same experience as actual captain's chairs, but at least we have this option right here, plus a second option to just use the built-in center armrest to achieve practically the same thing. Now, when it comes to the absolute space of this thing, well, guys, I'm 5'6", and this driver's seat is not in my driving position. Rather, this is pulled back such that, let's say you have a family driver who's like 6 feet tall. Well, this is that driving position right there. Now, the good thing is I still get around 5 inches of knee room here and a good 4 inches of headroom. Now, as I said, guys, the Ford Explorer is one of the most spacious premium midsize SUVs in the category, and it shows here in the back seat. Now, when it comes to the amenities, well, the Ford Explorer has also got you covered. Aside from this center armrest with 2 cup holders, we also have another set of cup holders on the door cards. Plus, we also have the controls for your third climate zone here at the back, and ceiling mounted AC vents, map lights, and a bunch of charge ports also found here in the center. Now, to top it off, guys, we also have privacy shades here in case you want to take a nap and you don't want the people outside to see you snoring. Now, we also have, well, that panoramic sunroof right there, which helps to keep the ambience here at the back on the light side. Now, I've seen some reviews and some reports from the US that says that the Ford Explorer's third row seat are on the cramped and tight side. Now, sitting here, guys, I don't know if they're just really big-ass humans or fat bastards, but guys, if you are an average Asian like me, you've got plenty of space here in the third row seats. You see, I have a good like 3 inches of knee room here and a good like 5 inches of headroom. So yeah, those reports that says that the third row seats here at the back are kind of on the tight side, well, if you're somebody who was like 5'8", maybe even 5'9" and smaller, you're not gonna have any problems here at all. Well, as long as you weigh below 200 pounds. Now, the good thing about these third row seats, though, is yeah, the sitting position is also on the comfortable side. Now, granted, I don't really have the longest legs on the planet, so yeah, I'm quite comfortable here. My knees are not really that high, and it's really more of a normal sitting position for me. So if I'm going to take a long drive in this Ford Explorer, yeah, it wouldn't be an issue for me to sit here on the third row seats. We're here all the way here at the back. Now, when it comes to the amenities here, we also have a couple of cup holders. I don't see any charge ports here, so there are no USB charge ports, but we do have ceiling mounted AC vents to keep you cool and comfortable. Alright guys, so we are now driving the Ford Explorer Limited 4x4, and first up guys, wow, you know, this thing is huge. I mean, yeah, I know, the Explorer is just a premium mid-size SUV, but driving this thing guys, yeah, it feels like you're driving a much bigger vehicle. The visibility is pretty good. I mean, I got a good wide windshield in front of me, and of course, my side windows are also pretty decent. But I feel like I am sitting inside the seat because it's kind of low. Granted, I can adjust that with the power seat adjustment. There you go. Now it feels like an SUV. Now, when it comes to the steering feel of this thing, well, it's kind of on the vague side. It feels a little bit floaty even. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just going on a straight line and I am playing with the wheel, and guys, there is no input at all. Yeah, I feel so disconnected from the road, and that's pretty much par for the course for most of these American-made SUVs nowadays. It's really leaning more towards the comfort side, making you have a lighter steering feel, but at the sacrifice of feeling so disconnected from the road. Now, having said that, guys, well, the comfort of this thing, the NVH is, wow, it is superb. It is superb, guys. I mean, we're driving around here. Relatively, it's a quiet day here at BGC. But yeah, it just feels so quiet inside this cabin. You don't hear much, even if there was a Nissan GTR that was gunning it at full clip. Yeah, his exhaust note didn't really make its way into the cabin too much. Now, here's the thing though. Going through some not so perfect roads here on this road, yeah, the suspension also is a little bit, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, you could hear it. It's not harsh, but you can hear it. You can hear the imperfections on the road as you go through some potholes here and there. So yeah, that's kind of weird. And it might have something to do with those Michelin self-sealing tires. You see, when you're running on, well, run flats, well, it has a different compound, and in this, especially in this thing. So yeah, it might have something to do with that. It might be a little bit harder than your normal rubber compound that can be found in standard tires. Now, as I said, guys, we are equipped with the base engine EcoBoost 4-cylinder turbocharged motor here. So let's see an acceleration test. Whoa, okay. Yeah. This thing can really qualify as a police interceptor in the US because it has a good amount of acceleration from standstill. So you can easily, yeah, run after those speed demons and those lawbreakers when you're driving the Ford Explorer Limited 4x4. I love the way they tune the transmission of this thing because, guys, we are in normal mode right now, but the transmission is so efficient in putting the power down. Now, this is Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission, but it doesn't feel like the 10-speed automatic transmissions that I've tested in, let's say, the Ford Ranger FX4 Max or even the Ranger Raptor. This one feels a little bit more aggressive when it comes to putting the power down. Let's try it again. We're still in normal mode, gentlemen, but wow. And going through this curvy road here, yes, it has a tiny bit of body roll there, and yeah, you could feel it float a little bit through the corners, but not too much. It's not too bad. In fact, I would even say that it's on the nimble side for such a large premium SUV. Alright guys, breaking news. So I was at normal mode a while back and I toggled it to sport mode. And in sport mode, well, that vague feeling in the steering feel disappeared. The steering wheel is now heftier and it doesn't feel like it's running on rubber bands anymore. So wow, that is something that I did not expect, guys. So in sport mode, this Ford Explorer steering feel also tightens up. And let's see how it accelerates. Yep, acceleration is brisker. It's yeah, it's more hurried. Oh my goodness, yeah. You gotta be careful with this thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, in sport mode, it's a totally different vehicle, guys. Wow. So, if I'm gonna be driving this Ford Explorer often, well, it looks like I will always be in sport mode because this, my friends, is truly engaging as far as midsize SUVs go. Let's go. Yeah. See? The pickup of the acceleration is really good. Let's try the braking. Braking is also good. The brake feel is also nice. It's well modulated. It doesn't feel like you're stepping on a cardboard, which is good. Let's try it again. And the good thing here is we have four-wheel drive. So yes, the traction is sure-footed. You've got a confidence while you're taking corners at a fast clip. That's another good thing about this Explorer Limited 4x4. Overall, guys, well, I was expecting to be underwhelmed by this Ford Explorer Limited 4x4 because, well, it is equipped with the base 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine. But guys, I'm so happy to tell you that I'm so mistaken because this Explorer has a good level of throttle response, the transmission is properly tuned, and yes, it could deliver the goods and deliver it well. Now, it also has a solid level of NVH levels, and yeah, it delivers in all aspects that you would expect from a premium mid-size SUV from a giant car maker like Ford. Now, the only gripe that I have with this thing is, well, that that noise that gets in whenever you go through some small potholes here and there. But yeah, it doesn't really affect the ride quality too much. So yeah, overall, this Ford Explorer Limited 4x4 deserves the Reagan's thumbs up. The Ford Explorer is the space king of the premium midsize SUV segment. It can easily accommodate 7 people plus a lot of stuff. Now I can see why this is the family vehicle of choice by the executive who loves to drive. It has the space and the amenities, plus it's easier to park and maneuver around town than, let's say, the Ford Expedition. Now, not to mention the fact, guys, that this Ford Explorer is way more affordable than its bigger brother. Anyway, thanks for watching.